do you describe yourself as a person of faith?
In the deepest way, yes. If you don't have faith, you're not going to be you're not going to sustain the how shall I say, the turbulence and vagaries and pain of politics. Politics is a great profession, but it's fraught with a lot of difficult passages, not only for me, but especially for my wife, my two boys. Sometimes they're vicious, not sometimes. Sometimes and often they're viciously attacked. And without their faith, their support, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing. And I'm not just saying that. It's not just a common verbal expression. It's really true. And what keeps them supporting me is that they believe in the things that I believe, and they've shown amazing resilience and amazing courage in the face of often vicious, scandalous attacks, just unbelievable. It requires unbelievable courage and fortitude.
I'm so grateful for your family, for the stance you've taken and stood with. I've watched from afar and up close for years and years. And as you said, politics has to be the most brutal thing in calling.
Israeli politics is tougher than most.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tougher than American politics.
And I was going to say, Americans actually saw that for, the up close and personal in a way that they'd never seen it before. With your faith, how does it influence your leadership and your vision for Israel?
Well, it used to be that when a younger boy, who was himself a Bible scholar, was living with us, then every Shabbat, every Saturday, we would read a portion of the Torah. And I have to say, until the age of 12, I was teaching him. His name is Avner. From the age of 12 on, he was teaching me. And
at the age of 15, he was the champion of the band.
Yes.
That's so amazing.
Yeah, so it's been more than a part of my life. It's been the essence because, when we do everything we're doing there, why are we there? I mean, we could be in Sweden or in Nepal or someplace. No, we can't be. We have to be there in the land of Israel, in the land of the Bible, in the land of our ancestors, and in the land that the prophet said, after the destruction of our temples, you shall come back. You shall ingather the exiles. You shall rebuild your life and your future. And this is not these are not empty words.
Absolutely.
And if you're not filled with a deeper mission, there's no point. There's no point.
Agreed. You're living life in purpose and carrying out the plan of God.
You live a life of purpose. And for me, the purpose has been to protect the Jewish state and assure its future. It's the deepest calling that I can have. And I'm fortunate to have my wife, Sarah, and our two boys to be full partners in this. And they've supported me throughout.
Such a blessing. Israel's a unique country where religion plays this crucial role in society, yet there is a strong commitment to freedom, but also you have liberal values. So you see this almost dichotomy, you see this fluctuation. How do you see the elements coexisting and complementing each other?
I don't think there's a real conflict there if you really understand the sources. I mean, the Jewish people actually gave the concept of freedom. It actually opposed the idea of slavery. I mean, you had a time limit for slavery in the Bible. It's part of the things that emanated from the Mosaic Code. So the idea of freedom, this is at a time, now think about it, this is like over 3,000 years ago, okay? I mean, the whole place, the whole world in the Middle East, has these empires that basically you have one guy who's the ruler. He's not subject to it. He makes all the rules, and he can enslave everybody, and that's it's common sense. And in comes this small people on the Judean hills, okay? And they say, no, that's not the way it is. You could be a king, even a great king like King David, but you're subject to a higher law. And you can't commit horrible crimes because you too will be held responsible and accountable. And no one is inherently a slave that cannot be. I mean, this was such a revolution. That's where freedom came from. These are the Judaic origins of freedom. And also at once faith, but also, I think Jordan Peterson said that you wrestle with God. Jacob wrestled with God. You question, you believe, but you challenge all the time. And that's how Jewish thought developed over the centuries. You had great rabbis sending basically the internet of the Middle Ages. They would send letters to each other, questioning this and questioning that, and then coming to conclusions based on the development of our heritage. And so I don't see that inherent conflict. I think it's overblown and not understood. And if you look at the origins of human freedom, it really goes back to the Bible.
Absolutely. So insightful. I know they're going to wrap us soon, and if they allow us to continue to go, but there's something that I just have to ask you. In the Bible, women play such a pivotal role. And throughout your career and throughout this time that you have served so well, your wife, Sarah, has genuinely and tremendously stood out, not just symbolically, not just, yes, as your wife, but so much more. In fact, President Trump calls her your secret weapon. And every time I've been around her, she's beautiful, she's smart, but she is so significant. And I think I'd like to know if you could share, where's that strength and how, share some insight about your wife that maybe the public doesn't know, because I do think that politics keeps us very, guarded to some degree. And yet she is rock solid.
That's right.
And we have watched that for quite some time.
Well, she's a true Lioness of Judah. She has her wellsprings of faith come from her father and her mother, who were, as I said, her father was a biblical scholar and her mother was just a very, very forceful, kind and forceful believer in the Jewish traditions and the Jewish faith. And I was very fortunate to have her on my side because she gave me sustenance in the worst of times. Not only me, she not only supported me, she supports children with cancer, wounded soldiers, lonely soldiers. We have lone soldiers who come from many countries to serve in the Israeli army, and they're alone, and she's helped them. She's supported families who lost their, with fallen soldiers. She goes to the families. She's a psychologist by profession, so she really connects with the people. And she just doesn't visit it like, you could say, okay, she's the wife of the prime minister. She has to sign off to say, I visited a bereaved family. No, she stays there for hours, and they connect, and then they turn to her for help. And she does that while she's acting as her job is to be a child psychologist in the Jerusalem municipality. So, and unfortunately, of course, she gets maligned. Listen, we have political opponents. They do horrible things, which you're familiar with here. But it turns out that over the years, just a growing number of Israelis in our public appreciated her strength of character.
Yes.
And the durability of her values. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't be here without her.
Prime Minister, there's no better way to close than that, because I believe, it's been said, behind every great man is a really great woman. And I'm so grateful for you, for Sarah and your family, and the strength of your life and this calling. So thank you, because we know your contribution to the world, to our faith, and to our nation. Thank you so much, Prime Minister.
Thank you, Paul.
It's an honor.
What if you could change someone's day by simply sharing this video? So you never know how spreading the good news of Jesus could make an impact on someone's life. So take a moment, comment, share, and subscribe.